Well, last race was a very close race between Harry Conway and Joe Dorber. The fight for first place in Pro, but Conway made no mistakes and took the win pretty well, just by a second. But can he do it tonight, or will Jordan Daly take it from underneath his feet? We'll have to wait and see. Hello and welcome back to Now. My name is Ted Edwards. Joining me, as usual, on the mic and controlling the cameras is our lovely Jesse Lee. How are you doing, Jesse? Are you excited for today's race?
Well, I think it's going to be absolutely impossible to be not excited for a race like this. This is incredible. It is the Mount Panorama. We've got 20 plus cars all fighting for glory here tonight, and we had a little bit of a precursor, a prelim yesterday in the Friday Champ. I think tonight is the dress rehearsal's over. Tonight is the night that all these drivers are going to put it all on the line. They had a practice run. Today, they're going to live and die by the sword. They're going to live and die by the mountain. The mountain giveth, the mountain taketh, a whole bunch of other superlatives. It's going to be a great race.
Yeah, sure is. Yesterday's race was a very good one. And unfortunately, Conway had a few mistakes in the race, so that was his little bit of a practice for tonight. So I wonder if he can keep it on the track this time around. Jordan Daly took home a third place in Friday Champ in the Pro category, so I wonder if he can take home the win today. He's looking good on form. He is in a different car though. I think he was in the Mercedes yesterday. I could be wrong, but he is in the M4 today, so we'll have to see how he does. I was driving the M4 yesterday with the setup that he gave me, and it was very stable indeed, and I took home a third place, which was something I didn't expect. But you know, the mountain does hurt you in ways, and I did have a 26 seconds of damage at one point, so just have to see if people can keep it on the track or if they end up in the walls. But anything can happen around here. 13 minutes of qualifying left. It's a 15-minute quali. You just have to see what everyone does. This is Conway's first flying lap, going through Hill Corner onto the mountain straight, coming up to Quarry Bend. Easy one to get wrong. If you break a bit late, you do wash wide and you can hit the wall. You see Jordan Daly in the background in that nice blue M4, going through Quarry Bend now up to the cut-in. The cut-in is a hard one. I hit that yesterday. It's on entry here. I hit that wall and bounced to the right. Conway does it pretty nicely. So does Jordan Daly as we head up to Griffin's Mount and then on to Reed Park right here. It's a very technical bit of track, and you have to get it right if you start bouncing off the walls. Sunderland Park is just gone by, and then McPhillamy Park is right here. This one's hard. Hit this curb on the left and you bounce off to the right, and there's sand, and it's not that great. As we go down Skyline through the S's, now onto the Dipper. Is a very fun and exciting part of the track. If you get it right, if you get it wrong, it's not so much fun. But here we go down into Forest Elbow, or as some people call it, the Bentley Corner, because of all the Bentley signs. But straight on to the Conroe Straight. This is the fastest part of the track. Slipstream is key here in the race, and looks like Daly might be getting some slipstream off Conway here, so have to keep an eye on his lap time as we go into the chase, go through the kink here into the chase, breaking out the 150 board. It's a very hard corner to get wrong, very fast corner. It looks slow, but it's actually pretty quick, coming up underneath the Liquid Molly bridge, if you like, going through Murray's Corner and back on to the pit straight. A few yellow flags in the S's. Conway does a 2-minute 1:297. Daly does a 2-minute 0.875, and then Flamger beats that by a 2-minute 0.555 in the Lamborghini. So very strong there.
Some interesting, good qualifying runs there for the first laps. We're immediately in the 2-minute bracket, and thankfully for Alpha Sim Sports, Timothy Flamger, they are the top of the heap. Daly, Conway, the top three. Kierton, LaValle coming in. George Barr just slotting into fourth place in that McLaren as well. Qualifying coming hot and heavy for a lot of these drivers. You know, a lot of times what you end up doing is you take a lap to get your bearings, so to speak, out there on the racetrack. Not a lot of that actually happening. Everybody going for glory. Nearly everybody, the top spots are in the 2-minute range or the 2-minute 1 range almost immediately, so no chill at all. Everybody going for it, but why wouldn't you at a racetrack like Bathurst? If we're at Silverstone, maybe the argument is completely different, right? Maybe you don't necessarily go for it as hard as you possibly could on the very first lap, because you're going to have many opportunities. There's a lot to gain and little to lose. Here, there's a lot to gain, and if you fumble a lap, you fumbled the lap. You're not going to make up that time. You're going to be into the wall. You're going to be reset anyway, so why not just go for it?
Yeah, sure thing. It's definitely, you want to get that first lap in clean, or even the first 2 laps in, because you'll improve on the second one, because you'll have better PSI on the tyres and more warmth in the tyres and the brakes. But yeah, like you say, after that you just go for it. Like once you get that lap in that you think, okay, that's decent, but I need to do better. Now the time is to send it and brake late and try and, you know, or even probably brake a little bit early and get the turn in and throttle out as quick as you can. But it's very difficult. I know Jordan Daly showed me a technique through Skyline, and it's scary. And I normally brake as you come up to the 7 News Bridge, or banner if you like. He doesn't brake, he lifts and goes in, and it's a very weird thing mentally to not brake there. And I did it a few times in practice for Friday, and I did it a few times and it was faster, and then sometimes I did it and I ended up just bouncing everywhere and bouncing off every single wall there is in the S's down to the Dipper. So last night I opted to do a little bit of brake, but it's just one of those things where Daly's found a faster line and he knows how to do it perfectly almost every time. So that's it quicker for him, but it's so difficult. It's what these pro drivers, you know, come up with, and it depends on the car as well. Like the M4 is what he was driving yesterday, so he has some experience. So does Conway, who was driving the Ferrari yesterday. So, you know, they know their lines. But if people haven't been, you know, didn't do yesterday's race or haven't done that much practice, they're going to struggle a little bit.
They certainly can end up struggling in that way. A couple of improvements there. Tyler Jason LaValle went P2. Olivier Kierton, I believe, did improve, and Phil Roberts was briefly in P5 with their improvement as well. Mo Plate is looking like they're going to improve again for the second consecutive lap. Inigo Lopez has also ran a really good lap to get closer with Roman Frawler, who was at the time running away with it in the silver class. No longer the case, as everybody continues continuing to improve. Raphael Huell now improving up to P7. It was a 2:01.527, good enough for 7th place. But the real question for me is, as Plate comes to the line, how far up will this get them? Up into P6. That'll drop Roberts and Huell down a spot or two, as several of the leading cars looking to come to the line and improve themselves, including Timothy Flamger for Alpha Simsport is tracking good for a couple of tenths, and he's got it. It's a 2-minute 1:32, good enough to reconfirm first place.
Tyler Jason LaValle, you just see there in the Mercedes pulling up behind him, did a 2-minute .160. So as you see there, it was like 200ths off his time, almost 300ths off Flamger's time. So very rapid in that Mercedes. And I did notice yesterday the Mercedes is rapid in a straight line. It's just through the top of the mountain that the S is where it sort of loses some of its time, and through both of the park corners. It's not as grippy compared to the M4, for instance. I think that Lamborghini's got a lot of grip as well, so you just have to wait and see. But if I have a look at some qualifying times from yesterday, the pros were doing 59s. Jochen Kellgren did in the McLaren did a 59.6. So there's definitely some more pace for these guys to find. And in the silvers was doing 2-minute 6s. In a Lamborghini, and I did a 2-minute 1.2 in a Beamer. So it's have to see what people could do. Redford's done a 2-minute 1.7, so that's basically on the ballpark for a silver. But there is definitely some more improvement. It's still got 5.5 minutes left, and just have to get. I think it's all about getting that clean air. Like Pimlott has all the clean air in front of him as he wants. It's when you get behind someone, as you see the train going up the mountain. You don't want dirty air. Dirty air is the worst thing you want around this track, especially when you're going through both of you've got Suleiman Park and McPhillamy Park. They're very fast, but you get so close to the wall, and if you get that dirty air, you might end up hitting that wall.
A lot of cars on the racetrack, a lot of cars abandoning their laps, coming into pit lane. You can tell if a car is on a valid lap by if their little dot on the right-hand corner of the screen, the track map there, if it's gray, they're on a valid lap. If it's sort of blue, they are not on a valid lap or have validated. If it's yellow, that is indicating that they're on the racetrack, like the 22 is coming through Skyline right there. That indicates that car is in some sort of peril. If it's white, if the dot is white or has a yellowish outline, that means the car is stranded somewhere or is ailing in some way. Neil Pimlott not ailing for VR Racing. That lap good enough for 8th place. That takes them out of obscurity, which was right around 17th, 18th place, and puts them near the top of the heap. That's exactly where you want to be starting in the first couple of rows. They've got to keep that up because I feel like there's still time on the board, and will some time be taken off here by Jordan Daly. It's close between first and second, and behind them it's close as well, but there is a wealth of a gap between second and third. LaValle at a 2-minute 160, Daly at a 2-minute 875. We know the Triple R driver has more pace than they've shown. They're looking like they're going to add to that right here, and they do. They do improve to a 2-minute 755, closing the gap just a little bit, and perhaps more importantly for Jordan Daly, widening it out to 4th place, Phil Roberts, who, by the way, has snuck in there, I've just noticed. They were around 8th place. They were in a lap good enough for 4th, a 2-minute 917.
Yeah, Phil's doing very well. Jordan is a 10th off his qualifying time from yesterday. He says he's feeling a bit better today, so I'll just have to see how he goes. He was driving a bit more cautious yesterday. He has hurt his back. He says it's getting better, and he was saving himself. Jordan Daly.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah. So he said he's saving himself for Night Owl, because Night Owl is the champ that he cares most about, and obviously he's fighting with the all-time Harry Conway, the 3-time Night Owl champion. So, you know, Conway doesn't want Daly to get it. Daly wants to get it and doesn't want Conway to get it. You got Joe Dolber, who's sneaking in there. At the minute, he's down in 8th place. Let's have to see what he does. Flamger is trying to get it. LaValle is trying to get it today. It's a pretty big fight for season 15 of Night Owl. Who will win it? We don't know. We can't really put a finger on it. I can't. I can't talk for Jesse. but it's everyone. Each race is finishing in different places. There's not always one person who's always winning a race, or at least coming second or third consistently. It's a very different Night Owl Championship this time around.
Super competitive, this championship. We talked to some of the drivers before, and in the case of Harry Conway and Jordan Daly, they say, look, anything else is a warm-up. It's all about Night Owl. It's about winning races. For Harry Conway, it's about keeping Jordan Daly from encroaching on his 3-time Night Owl status. Of course, Daly, a Night Owl champion a season ago, looking to repeat, looking to do that for the first time since Juna Savalainen did that a couple of years ago at this point. That's what Daly's looking to do. Daly's trying to match wits and outdrive Harry Conway. Conway's trying to keep Daly from winning back-to-back championships. It's very interesting to see that. We've had other drivers say that Friday, when we were also at Mount Panorama, we might as well be Bathurst Racing International for the next week or so. We do apologize for that. We don't schedule things out like that. It has just occurred like that this time. But, you know, different people have different championships they care about. Some people, they swear by Night Owl. Night Owl is their champ. It's the one that they want to do. As Harry Conway goes P3 with a 2-minute .7 dead. That's good enough for the second row of the grid. That will force Jordan Daly over to the other side of that same row. So that rivalry, that's a friendly rivalry between those two. It's not bitter. It's not mean-spirited. That is a friendly rivalry between those two. And right now, if qualifying would end, and of course it hasn't done, they would share the same row of the grid. Phil Roberts into the pit lane will take no further part in qualifying. They will go no, they will go no further than 5th. That 2-minute .782 for them. A lot of cars not on a lap quicker than their previous. There is an exception to that. Neil Pimlott looking to gain as they come to the line right about now. And in fact, they have improved. It's a 2-minute 1:1.95.
That's a very nice lap time. Another driver that also spoke about Night Owl being their champ and they only used yesterday as a practice was Raphael Huell of the number 21 Porsche, which was very surprising. And obviously, Conway and Daly have driven Night Owl off for many and many seasons. Conway took a break, but Daly's been driving since I think season 1 or 2 at least. So, you know, he's been in the game the whole time, and this is like his main series that he focuses on. Same with Conway, but Raphael Huell was a surprise to me, but it goes to show some people do like Night Owl, and I thought I would have scared people off with the crazy pit requirements that I do dish out here and there.
Joe Dauber, P4 with a 2-minute 7.50.
I said he might be up there.
You sure did. At the buzzer of qualifying, that's exactly what you're looking for. Harry Conway may be looking for a little bit of a rebuttal, needs to pick it up. They're trending even with their previous time right now. And will they make it to the line? It doesn't look like that is... Oh, no, they are going to make it to the line. Is it an improvement? It is a slight improvement. A 2-minute 6.85 for Harry Conway, as everybody now trying to make it to the line. Qualifying over. Flying laps count, of course. The caution flag will be not heated, as that is after the flag. Everybody will continue at full speed. Not done. Still trying to improve. Here is Timothy Flamger. He was up about a 10th. It's tracking about that much, coming through Murray's for the final time, trying to put an exclamation point on this qualifying effort. And you know what? He does it. It's a 2-minute 0.62, the closest to a 1:59 we have seen in a little while. Timothy Flamger is going to take the pole position here in the pro class. Mike Redford sneaks in and takes a very nice pole position in the silver class. It was a 2-minute 1.185 for the Mike Racing driver. Indigo Lopez is many tenths behind that mark as Redford has snuck up and taken it from the likes of Barr, Frawler, and Lopez, and the lot. Incredible qualifying.
Sure was, and I just had a thought in my head. The temperature is actually up from yesterday's race. It was 8 p.m. and it was 18 degrees track and ambient. So these times are really good. Not into the 59s, but that's because of the temperature. As we see, Timothy Flamger, Lavallee, and Daly first, second, and third. Flamger with the first sector fastest sector. Lavallee with the second, and then we got Dolber who took the third. purple sector. So that's very interesting. Conway didn't get one and Daly didn't get one. And we've got Roberts and Curtin for the pro category. Redford just, yeah, jumping away from Lopez, who's in 14th, all the way to 8th with 2:01.1. Lopez with a, what's that, 2:01.5, so almost 4 tenths different. That's a very good gap and very good for the qualifying. And we've got, after Lopez who's in second in silver, we have Roman Frauler, who we know is doing very well in that M4, but M4 it doesn't seem that strong around here, but it's very grippy, so we just have to wait and see what they do. But that's 2:01.8, followed by Kettle with 2:01.1, and Piscina in M4 with 2:02.2. So it's not too bad, the qualifying times. I did see Ash Bibby as well. First time that he's driven this track, and he did a 2:05.1. That's a very respectable time for someone who's not driven this track. He's done quite a bit of practice. He did say he's a little bit nervous, but he's actually done a really good qualifying lap there, I would say, Jesse. This track is not easy. This is probably one of the hardest tracks you'll find on ACC.
Well, you're not going to get an argument from me, partner. It is a very difficult racetrack. It's hard to learn. It's even harder to master. I was lucky enough to sit in to a couple of guys talking about strategy, about how they turn in, when they turn in. To be a really good driver here, to run those low 2-minute lap times, you're turning before you ever see the corner. That's how your reactions have to be. That's how good they have to be. They have to be quick, they have to be sharp, precise, and they have to be blind, is the way this works, especially coming through the dipper section of the racetrack. You sort of have to predict where you're going to be, and it's all those things you learn with time, and the only way you learn is you get on the track and do it. Ted, we've had a couple of rounds of the championship so far, so what do you say? Let's take a look at the points.
Let's have a look at those pro standings. Jordan Daly with 72 points at the top, followed by Conway and Dolber with 65 and 58. And we've got Tyler Jason Navalli, Ralph Fuel, Emo Plate with 55, 48 and 40. Joint with Plate is Grim Lilith with 40 as well. And then round out the top 10, we've got Roberts, Pimlott and Flamger, 37, 34 and 34. So 2 people joint on points there. Very nice to see. It's going to be a good fight between those 2 groups there. And then for our next lot of drivers, we have Ingo and George Barr with 31 and 28. And then we've got Oliver Curtin with 25. Justin Madley, who's just joined for this race, didn't do the first two races in mid-season sign-up, has got 0 points. So he's looking to gain some tonight. And Marvin Steer has signed out of the championship. Then following on with the silver category, we've got Roman Frauler with 69 points. Nice. Followed by Piscina and Lopez with 62 and 58. And followed by Mustak, Redford and Kerrigan, 53, 51 and 48. And then joint on points is Tim Ireland and Lee Kettle with 44 points each. And then the last 2 in the top 10, the Moondog and Kevin Boss with 40 and 34 points. Very well done from Kevin in that Honda. Not a very strong car this time around in 1.9, but nice points either way. Following on, we have Samuel Jordan and Ashley Bibby, 31 and 28 points. And then the next 2 drivers, Jasper Sparks and Matthew Malcolm, have signed out of championship.
Well, there you have it. It's a close championship through 2 rounds, and we go back to that friendly rivalry that has emerged between Harry Conway and Jordan Daly. They're at the top of the standings, the both of them. They're both Night Owl champions. We stated it already. One's trying to keep the other from winning more championships. The other one's trying to do something since Savalainen did it back in the day. I'm going to have to ask you to pit yourself against your friends. Who's your money on tonight between those 2?
Oh, who was that? Conway and Daly, did you say?
Yeah, just between them. Nobody else.
Just. Oh, now you're making it difficult.
Yeah, I know that's literally what I'm trying to do.
You're evil, Jesse.
Yeah, that's the greatest part about.
I'm gonna say Daly. You're gonna take Daly
over Conway.
I want to see the legend come back, Conway, but I feel like he's not a rookie. He's more of a runner-up. Daly. I feel like he can take this, and I feel like he can take the points. to win the champ at least. Like that's what I feel like is gonna happen. But for
Okay.
this track, the M4 was so grippy. He said it was so good. Um, so from experience, I think Daly's gonna do it. Conway, on the other hand, he went off the track a few times in that Ferrari, so that's what makes me go with Daly. What about you, Jesse?
Now here's the thing. I would never bet against Jordan Daly or Harry Conway, right? I wouldn't do that. But based on what we saw one night ago, and by the way, if you weren't watching Friday Champ, it was an absolute corker of a race, insane to the last, that race. And I'm not going to spoil it. And I don't, Ted, let's not spoil what happened last night because it is on a VOD. You can watch that after this
Yes.
race. If you have an hour tonight, folks, where you're not doing anything else, when you see the green flag drop, tell me who you think's going to win that race, and I can almost guarantee you're wrong. That is how insane that race ended up.
To be fair, last night's race was a good race. Bathurst always does do a good race, and I still need to watch back because obviously I was in the race, but I wasn't. I don't know what happened at the front. I don't know what happened at the back. So I still need to go back and watch it. But obviously, watch this race first. We got 50 seconds until we get onto the formation lap. So you're gonna have to wait a little bit. Maybe watch it tomorrow on a Sunday. There is no Formula One. So what else are you gonna watch?
Well, I mean, I can tell you who's going to win F1 before the race happens, so don't even watch that to
Well,
begin with.
exactly.
I am looking for Mike Redford's car, I think it is, who has something interesting on the roof of the car.
Oh, it's this one on
And
the left.
it's this one right here. What's on the roof?
Oh
of-
yes, I've seen this.
Okay.
Yes.
Saturday night. Oh yes, it's got the Night Owl logos on it. That's right. Of course.
And he put the number 1 silver because he won the silver class, which was
Yes.
very, instead of putting a gold medal, he put a silver medal, which is
that is
a very
charming.
good indeed. Yeah,
I do
it's-
like
it's
that
quite-
indeed. By the way, we were talking about championships being important to certain drivers rather than others. Matthew Malcolm chimed in, okay, with the obvious one of, well, keep in mind the World Tour's coming up, right? And it is at, drum roll, Bathurst. So there's a lot of drivers here at Night Owl, specifically tonight, doing a little bit of research, aren't they, on the 6 hours of Bathurst coming up 1 week from today.
Yes, we also have Wednesday as Bathurst, I believe.
Like I said, we didn't plan. I promise you, as an admin here at RCI,
didn't plan.
we didn't plan for this to happen. It just, how you get that one weekend a year where all the planets align and all that. That's kind of what happened. This was our one weekend. Joe Dauber, by the way, in the 777 qualified P5 for Rebound Racing. They either didn't hit the button or they did that on purpose.
I think they did it on purpose. They did say in chat, chances of me surviving lap 1 with pit lane start ? We didn't answer him, so he answered his own question for himself.
Well, yeah, he answered the question for himself and us on this occasion. Well, good luck to them. We saw this, was it Mike Redford who won the silver class after starting from the pit lane? Keep an eye on Joe Dauber. He qualified 5th. He'll start at the back. He is allowed to start the race, of course. He will be released from pit lane after the field clears Hell Corner, which is turn number 1. I've never had a turn name be more on the nose than Hell Corner. How did the Australians know? I don't know, but they certainly do let you know with that. So we'll see. Mike Redford has used this strategy to win in class. Can Joe Dauber get back inside the top 5 at the end of the night? We will see. Final question for Ted Edwards before we go green. Will we see a big kerfuffle here on the opening laps tonight? Yesterday, it was more solitary incidents. There were a couple of incidents near the back of the pack. Wasn't a huge deal. We haven't had a huge pile up here in a while. Doesn't happen here at Night Owl.
I so hope it's not, because obviously back in the past, Night Owl was known for the most crashes in any championship it did, but they've been pretty clean recently. Only a few people spinning out and stuff. reason why I have the pit strategy as it is today. And yes, there is a pit stop. I will get onto that after, let's say, lap 1 and after everyone's had a bit of a kerfuffle. But I'm hoping they're all clean racing, and they, you know, it is the mountain. You don't want to get hit or hit someone and you bounce off into a wall, because that can have an effect on the rest of the pack, and it's not fun. But I'm saying no, but I'm probably gonna commentate curse this already.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I think there's too many cars, folks. We got 26 of them on track at mid-season. This is not round 1. This is round 3, so we're at mid-season for Night Owl Season 15. We got 26 cars. A lot of different strategies here, a lot of different purpose here. Some researching, maybe for Wednesday Champ, maybe for the World Tour 6 hours here next week. Some fighting legitimately for championships. Friend versus friend fighting for top spots. Others are looking for that first title. So many agendas, so many different kinds of races. I think there's going to be a huge calamity at the start of this race. Now, here's the thing. No live stewarding for this, so we shouldn't expect a restart to take place. A restart would have to be instigated by myself or Ted Edwards in this case, if that were to occur. And Ted, since it's your championship, that would be rather on you. But normally, the jargon is the majority of the field involved in an accident. I don't think we're going to see that, but I think we are going to see some dramatic exits here. Ted, on the front straightaway, let's get this thing going.
Yeah, sure is. Green flag show at the end of these boxes. See who can get a good enough start. Here we go. Green light is showing. They are off. Can Flam get a head start? He does over the Mercedes. Can Daly sneak in on turn 1? He tries. Can he make it? Side by side down the straight. Lavalley will have the slipstream from the Lamborghini. Conway doesn't know which car to pick. He is now going to try and pick the Mercedes.
Pretty clean through one.
It sure is towards the back of the pack. But these 3 drivers don't really know what they're doing right now. Are they going to go single file? They are going to go single file. I wonder if they're going to stay like that and get their pressures up to optimal temperature before they decide to do any dives. You see Phil Roberts on the back end of Conway, followed by Redford. Ooh. And I see Grim Lilith in the background there as well. There is a crash at the back of the pack. We'll have to wait to see who that is as we come through Sullivan Park on the way down to McVillamy Park. That's this part on the track with the most walls you can hit all day long. There's something you do not want to do. Grim all over the curtain, and followed by Pimlock. Pit window is open. Get to that in just a minute.
This is one of the cars that was heavily involved. Kevin Boss for Wheelie Slow. They've been bounced around a couple of times in the second turn, and they are ailing quite badly. The 28 of Callum Kerrigan, the other one. And aren't these two teammates on a lot of different races for Wheelie Slow?
Damage.
No teammates here tonight, but the 28, despite the fact that the 31, I think, was involved in the original incident, actually, I think these two were involved in the original incident. Callum Kerrigan certainly has got the worst of it. The fascia of that McLaren completely falling off of that car as they try to limp it around. Meanwhile, racing up at the sharp end of the field, Timothy Flamger holds a 0.6 of a second lead. Jordan Daly, who looked like they were under fire from Harry Conway, caught up to the back of Tyler Jason LaValle, but it's not going to matter. Jordan Daly doing the quick stop, the super undercut by Triple R's Jordan Daly.
No one's joining him. No one is joining. He did say that if it's going to be a pit window that opens on lap 1, that he will pit and get it out of the way, I guess, so he can get clean air. And he has. No one else has joined him. No one's jumped at that opportunity. But we never had a pit window this long before. I might have got the numbers mixed up a little bit, but we will ignore that for today. But yeah, he's decided to jump at the gun and taking it. And if you're wondering why Kerrigan was going so slowly, well, you can see he was full locked to the left, and his front left wheel is locked in place. It's not moving, and you can see if we look at the back of the car that he's leaving behind tire mark line. You see that there? That little sliver of line is coming from his front left tire that is probably overheating massively, and just chunks of rubber are just going to come flying off that car. So he is really, really damaged.
Couple
So
of things.
it's very unfortunate.
Couple of things going on. Obviously, the pack fighting, no positions have been changed, of course. Just showing you Callum Kerrigan, because Callum's doing the right thing. They're driving it straight. They're not in anybody's way, but if they don't get that car back quickly, they very well could be in the way, and I believe they've just ran off the racetrack. Here is Timothy Flamger coming down the Conrad straight, and then you've got Callum Kerrigan, who has just literally cut the chase section of the racetrack, trying to get that car back to the pit lane. I don't think he can either, and he's going to guide the car onto the wall all the way back down pit lane. And I think they're safe now, as long as they can continue to turn that car left, which I suspect they can. They will be out of the way of this group, and here they come. The leaders coming through. Kerrigan into the pit lane. And that's going to work out for. Oh no, he's not fully into the pit lane. He's missed it. He's missed it. He's pretty much missed it at this point. He's going to have to do some weird 5-point turn here, and he's going to do it, but the car doesn't steer to the right. It doesn't matter if it's going backwards or forwards. This is a scary moment here for the 28 and all the other drivers trying to figure out what's going on here.
Oh, he can't turn left either. It's really... We've not seen this before.
No, this is incredible. You're not missing anything. No passing that we're aware of is taking place. I promise you that. This is just a very odd situation Callum Kerrigan's found themselves in.
Yeah, Redford's coming into the pit lane. No damage. He's just doing his pit stop now like Daly did. And Kevin Boss is still in pit lane fixing his damage. Kerrigan's going to be in here for a very, very long time. He's already a lap down, and he's going to lose at least another few more laps. Which is a shame, but he did the right thing. He could have towed to pit lane, and it probably would have been a bit quicker.
Dear.
Sir, that's meant to be at the end of the pit lane. I'm just hoping.
Callum, we're gonna want a reimbursement for that, just so you know. But beyond that, was able to make it down the pit lane. Give a call to Callum. Probably would have at that point saved a little bit of time, but to tow. But I mean, you don't know that when you get into that situation. But was able to drive that car back to the pit lane. The reason I showed that is because so often we've seen that, right, Ted? And that goes really wrong when the pack closes up on you whenever you're severely damaged.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's the best case scenario. Got it off the racetrack, got it into a place where they were able to bring it down the pit lane. Now, as the pack has spread out just a little bit, let's take you back to the start of the race. This, Kevin Boss and Callum Kerrigan's incident. Ted, tell us what you see.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen this yet. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Well, we're coming down the mountain straight up to Quarry. Quarry pain. Oh, was that Redford hitting the back of Boss? And then they just ping-ponged into the start of the tyre barrier.
No, that was Callum. That was Callum Kerrigan.
Oh, sorry, it's Callum. Is similar colours. It was so Callum. It looks like it touched the rear end of Boss. The Boss went left, took Callum with him, and they both hit the start of the tyre barrier, which just stops you basically almost dead if you hit it dead on. And that's what happened there. That's why Callum just must have got the full force of the start of the barrier. And that's why he's got so much front end damage, whereas Boss could get around quite well. He's still got damage on his car. That's why he was still slow, and that's why he was still in the pit lane. He came out behind Redford after Redford pitted, so that's how long he was in there for. You know, he drove all the way there and still had to do his pit and fix. So, you know, it's one of them. But that was a very serious and hard contact there. But just have to see if one of them reports that. I hope they do, because we do, even though we don't have live stewarding, we do want people to report any incident or what they deem to be an incident, even if it's not, to post-race stewarding, and stewards do pick up on that 2 days after the incident reports do close with the drivers. So some people do, and it's very nice to see. But when we see some big contacts and people don't, then that's when we start pointing fingers saying, do your post-race. And it's one thing that Phil dislikes is people not reporting the incidents. But they've been pretty good at Night Owl. People have been very clean and have been doing the right thing. But just looking here, Jesse, there's a massive gap between Lilith and Curtin now. Is a pretty, what's that, a 4.3 second gap on the track map. It looks huge, but just wondering if Grimm's holding up these guys behind, or these guys are fighting and Grimm's just chilling out and trying to look after his tyres, because the pit requirements today, as Grimm comes into pit lane, is one pit stop, one mandatory pit stop with a litre of fuel with a 57 minute 50-second pit window. So no tyre change. That's why the guys are coming in early. But it was just there in case people like Kevin and Kerrigan got damaged, and you just fix it early on. Get your mandatory pit stop out of the way. You don't lose anything, because this track, like me and Jesse said before, is just brutal.
Certainly can be. Interesting things going on in the race is Mike Redford down in 24th place. I'm pretty sure that wasn't Redford involved in that initial incident. That was way too far back where Kevin Boss was to have Redford. Keep in mind, Redford started inside the top 10 cars. So for that to have been Redford, something must have happened before. But they are all the way back in 23rd. But that's because, of course, they have completed their stop. So they were not involved in that. That was Kerrigan's car. It was slightly confusing. They are McLarens. They both have flashes of red and predominant white on the cars, but Redford's car, of course, has the black sidings. That should be the tell-all. They have completed their stop, has Redford, and that will mean that it will appear as if they're next to last in their class, but in reality, they have already done their stop. Jordan Daly, Grim Lilith have done their stop as well, and Miguel Martins has already pointed it out, but we'll point it out again. Joe Dahlberg, the progress, remember, started 26th, dead last, was far enough behind all the incidents. They were able to sneak through cleanly for Rebound Racing. They've done bits. They were up to 21st a lap ago, and of course with cars pitting and everything else going on, they are now up into 18th place. They are actually in front of Masatoshi Kaneko, who is in their class.
Ooh. Yellow flag for Boss. Sorry, Jesse Lee. I just saw that he's gone again. Doesn't look like he's hit a wall. Looks like he came out of, what was that? That was Solomon Park. Coming up here, coming up to the green wall, I like to call it, just because you don't really see the writing. There's Solomon Park and catching the curb. Oh yeah, he does. Oh, does he keep out the? Oh, he is a lucky man. That was close, and he knows no one's coming. Oh, he does bump the ball. But he knows no one's coming, that's why he let it roll back onto the track. So he had a little bit of rear damage to that, but nothing too major for Kevin Boss there. But
here goes Joe. Here goes Joe. Here comes Joe. Maybe a little bit of both going on there. Sayal Mustang trying to make a move for what inevitably will be 13th place. More cars have pitted. Of course, Ash Bibby down the pit lane this time. And that will
he's been in the pit lane for a while.
Oh, has he?
I think so. I'm waiting for him to leave the pit so we can see his pit time. Yeah, 2:23. I'm not sure why he took that. I don't know if he had damage. Like, that's a very long pit stop from Ash there. Everyone else is doing 38 to 41 second pit times because it's just 1 litre. It's in, 1 litre and out. I don't know if Ash has taken fuel, tyres, damage. I don't know what he's done. All of them don't add up to 2 minutes though. But we'll have to wait and see after the race and let you know.
Important thing for the Autobotic Transmission 69 car, nice number by the way, Ash. They're not last. They're, even with whatever has befallen them, it still doesn't add up to the magnitude of the issues Boss and Kerrigan have unfortunately had to have happen to them in this race. And doesn't matter if you have a really good race or a really bad race, the most important thing is exactly what Ash is doing, what Boss is doing, what Kerrigan's doing, sticking with it. We started with 26 cars. Has there been some calamity? Sure. Every driver has kept it going. Tyler Jason LaValle into the pit lane, and that looks like damage on the front of the Canadians Mercedes.
And the rear. Well, Kevin Boss has span again into Skyline, so he's got some problems. Probably that setup, but leaders are going to come up into the man now. So can he keep going? The 28 is damaged. Who is the 28? That's Kerrigan again. He's going very slowly, but just we got a little spotter on the track, Jesse, in the name of Tom Bryan. He says contact with Grimm and Redford into the chase lap 2. Apparently Daly had a big crash in Skyline and Valley had a crash into Dipper as well, so He's got his little binoculars out and he's running around the track just trying to, he's at the top of the mountain just writing down everything and chucking it at us here in the box because we don't see everything, and obviously no live streaming means we don't get updates from minor contacts with race incidents. So
yeah,
Daly's in the pit again as well.
What's quite interesting, unfortunate for Jordan Daly. What's interesting is the incident that we're being reported to, that the 333 had contact with potentially the 95 at some point. That was just not reported. It's not something I can show you because the system has not shown that. Jordan Daly having issues over the mountain, and here we're going to go back to lap number 2 again. This, I believe, is Adna Pusina, who was in contact with Roman Frawler. I don't know how severe this would have been, if at all. Let's take a look. Coming through the cutting here.
Too wide. Oh dear.
I would say. The body on body contact wasn't really bad. The car doesn't really, I mean, it does mind, but it doesn't mind a lot. It's the hit into the concrete wall that the car doesn't particularly like.
Yes, that's where you get the most damage, is those walls. And just got a little cheeky message from Jordan Daly saying, he says, it's over, something's sake. So I think that is his race.
Okay.
I think he's still driving around the track, but he's not gonna be able to get the points he wants today. I wonder if he can catch up with. A little bit of contact between Dolber and what's that? Kettle? No, that's Moondog. That's Moondog. Yeah, silver on pro contact, which is definitely something you don't want to do either way around. Roman Fowler fighting with Las Lopez right there. Looks like they get the same car as Moondog, but they are teammates. But nice move by
If you
Fowler
ever
there.
hear us pause up here, it's simply because there's a lot of teams, and we love this, by the way. This is not a complaint. This is an observation, peek behind the curtain, if you will. If we pause, it's likely because two cars look the same, and we don't want to accidentally call the wrong bit. And there are cues on a lot of these cars of what they are. It just takes us a minute, because we're old, we're getting on a bit. It takes us a moment to figure out which one of the team cars it is. We love the fact that there's teams, and we don't love this. Tim Ireland losing it by themselves into the cutting section. They're able to get the car, keep the car going the right way. Masatoshi Kaneko, the big winner in all that, was able to slow down, whoa up, and go around the outside. The Sanduck 740 Porsche able to get around them. Grim Lilith, Raphael Huell, able to do the very same. A scary moment there, but averted by some good driving. Tim Ireland didn't have anywhere to go, just had to put it in the wall there.
Yeah, it's so difficult. I've done it so many times, and it's Grim Lilith trying to go for a move down the
Did go for a move.
What is this?
Look at this.
Dangerous stuff. This is playing with fire. He's still a way back.
I'm going to assume Masatoshi had an issue here or something. Yeah,
Grim just got the better. Grim got. Grim did the cheeky cut. Okay. So I think he thought he was going to go back into the rear end of the Porsche because the Porsche broke early. Grim had the speed, and maybe Grim. Kerrigan got stop go 30 as well for speeding in pit lane. And Lee Kettle was doing a little bit of spin as well, just before the chase after the kink.
Let's see what happened here. Was this racing Vex Moondog? It is. A little bit of contact there. They had contact a lap ago.
As well.
Moondog has also had a little bit of a spin. This is Moondog.
Jesus.
This is not Lee Kettle. This is Vex Moondog.
Wow.
Well, you know what they say. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You saw one go to the inside, one go to the outside, and that is very unfortunate for both of those cars. The Bullshark E-Racing car continuing on, of course. Tim Ireland has brought their car down pit lane. Did Lee Kettle get away? Now, other than the contact, there wouldn't have been any other damage to the BDG sim racing machine. And I think, other than the damage they would have had on the sides of the car, I think they kind of got away with that one despite losing many places there.
Yeah, and Adnan Pusina's in chat saying, no focus tonight. I'm sorry for all the inconvenience it caused to other people. Looks like I need some time away from ACC as well. So that's another driver, 28, Kerrigan is now again sideways in the S's, or just before the dipper, I think there's. That's another driver that's just, retired from this race and there's another driver like Malcolm is also sort of dipping out of ACC for a while, and I think when you try and play a game, or like, you know, try sim and you play it almost every day, you do get that like frustration with the game and things don't go right, and then you start losing your way with the game, and it starts getting to you. And I said this to Malcolm, is if you need some time away, have some time away, and just, you know, try something else, have a little bit of rest. But it's not easy, especially around this track as well. Ooh, Lee Kettle doing a bit of a drift.
That was earlier. That's why Lee Kettle was having to repass Vex Moondog earlier on. That's what set all that up. That was a lap 3 or so incident. The 777 of Joe Dauber has had a little bit of contact. Inigo Lopez pits out of P2 in their class, but this is Joe Dauber's contact, and yeah, that was their contact. That looks
like,
we saw that
live.
Like
Dauber's fault. Dauber looked like he had loads of room on his right hand side, whereas it was Moondog, weren't it, who was like tight up against the apex. So
and this of course the replay,
I know what happened.
Yeah, what happened there? Look at this.
That is mad. At least it didn't break. They did sort of the right thing. So that was Moondog. Yes, sorry. It was Lopez before. That was Moondog then. So Moondog hit the kink curb, and that snapped their rear end out, which then the rear end hit the other car, which then made them both slide out. So that is what happened there. If they didn't hit the kink, I think they would have got away with it, and maybe, I think, was it Kettle could have made the move into the chase. But just one of those things, that curb can just catch you out. Any of these curbs can catch you out. They look innocent, but they're not, especially this one that Grimm and Huel are coming to now. That one there on the left can slam you into that right hand wall, that white one. And this one here, if you catch it wrong, it's a massive curb. You can hit the other curb and you end up going sideways down Skyline, and that's pretty scary.
This is a scary racetrack to race on. So many cars. We just saw Samuel Jordan come down pit lane, and it looked like a routine stop, but you could see even on the side of that 29, completely scraped up. That indicates to me that car has been in the wall more likely than been into somebody else, and I think that's going to be a common occurrence for most of the drivers. Timothy Flamgert leads the race over Harry Conway, Phil Roberts for Kaiju Racing up to P3, Olivier Kierton, George Barr, your top 5 in the race right now. All those cars, of course, have yet to complete their stops. This car, the one we're riding on the back wing of, is the highest of the cars that have completed their mandatory pit stop tonight. This is Grim Lilith looking back at Raphael Huel. They are doing battle in the middle of the pack, but for position and to be the leader of the cars that have pitted. Last night, a few weeks ago, we have had a lovely shot of Les Stevenson's face on the back of one of the cars that he races. And of course, in Night Out, we have the lovely and terrifying dinosaur face of Raphael Huel. You love it. It's Halloween time. Can I put up the decorations yet, Ted? Are you a stickler for that? Does it have to be a certain day for Halloween to start?
Nah.
It is the last day of the month, after all.
It is. When it gets near the end of September, I say, you know, getting into the spooky season.
Ted
I don't mind
up.
that. It's when the Christmas stuff starts coming out a bit too early.
Oh,
Mid-November, no thank you. End of November, that's not too bad. 1st of December is where it's at, but Halloween's fine by me.
Man, I got some real bad news for you. The day after Halloween here in the States, all the Halloween candy gets marked off 50%. That's moved to a very particular bin area of the store, and there's Christmas trees all over the place on the 1st of November. Guaranteed.
We already have Christmas decorations in some of our stores.
I thought you were going to say in your home, and I was going to be like, uh-oh.
No.
Okay. That's going to be contentious among the Edwards family.
No, but yeah, here in the UK, they decided to get them out a little bit too early for my liking, and I like to stay away from those shops until it is December.
It is, for those of you watching this back on VOD, this is the 30th of September, okay? It's the end of the month. And luckily,
yes,
I have not heard Mariah Carey one time in a store, on the radio, thank goodness. So we're making progress, or it just hasn't happened yet.
That is true. Well, just on about where we go. Lopez again going through the cutting. Not the cutting, the kink. God, so many names on this track. It's someone else is in the pit lane. Kerrigan to do the stop go 30. So no change there. Fortunate race for this car. Unfortunate for Boss, Piscina, Daly. You know, they've all had problems with Island as well when he did that slide and hit his front end. But just want to give a little shout out to Driver 61. They help in sim racers fulfill their potential on the track, from one-on-one driver coaching to full-on driver courses. The folks over at Driver 61 have helped thousands of racers find their craft and unlock their untapped potential. You viewers, RCI viewers, can get 25% off driver coaching by using the discount code RCI Coaching D61. I believe that is in the description as well. But you know, if you're struggling with the mountain or you're struggling with any track, go and hit up Driver 61. Use our 25% off code, and just you know, they can teach you a few things of, like, you know, the racing lines, what to do and what to not to do on certain different, you know, corners, because all corners are different and they have their own entry and exit points. And also they can help you do what Raphael Huell and Grim Lilith are doing, is following another driver close, but not, you know, ended up in the rear end of the car in front. So you can find all the information for them in the description.
Sure can. You know, it's a weird race between these two. These are completely different styles, completely different ideologies on how to go fast around a racetrack. If you don't know, Grim Lilith is a gamepad user. He's not even racing on a wheel, and it's super hard to tell from this angle. Some angles it's easier to tell. If we were in car, I think it'd be quite obvious, but he's so smooth somehow in the way he drives the race car. Keep in mind, we're talking about a driver who's racing near the sharp end of the field, and this is incredible. Two completely different styles of racing going at it here on the track at the same time. Don't let anybody tell you that you cannot race a gamepad appropriately in a sim racing game. Don't let anybody tell you that one style fits all, because it doesn't. It's whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you are efficient with using. This is two different, completely different ways to go about sim racing, and they're both working for my money right now.
Yeah, sure is. Two different cars these guys are as well. M4 gone on the straights, not too bad in the corners, but compared to the Porsche it's got the corner grip. Straight lines not too bad on this new one, but making it into this corner here, the Quarry Bend, I keep forgetting the names. I'm learning slowly just in getting there, but yeah, making it through past Grim Lilith and staying in front for the rest of the mountain, I would say, because you wouldn't want to make a move through the sector 2. There it's very dangerous. Oliver Curtin versus Phil Roberts for provisional third place. Obviously they still need to do pit stops, where you see 3 pro drivers have already done theirs, but Phil on the rear end of this Lamborghini, have to see what he can do. It looks like he's playing it a little bit safe, but it's a different race. This a lot of people have gone early for the pit stops. Some people are still staying out, but I think people have you know, got the space. Phil Roberts, as I say that, Phil Roberts is now into pit lane to serve his mandatory and take his 1 litre of fuel. As we see on the track now, 21 Huell has span. He was span in the S's or Dipper. So Grim Lilith is now free from Huell and has clean air in front and behind.
I wonder what happened there. We're going to do a very long replay, and we're going to see if we can't figure out what happened. Oh, yes, we have picked them up while they were still the way they are. The pink car, of course, Raphael Huell, who made the pass on Grim Lilith just 1 lap ago, now trying to gap Grim, and is doing a pretty decent job of it this time. Oh, he gets over the curb there. He's going to overreact, trying to keep it off the wall, and that's what's happened to him. He just about keeps it. Look at this for a shot here. This is very scary, and this is why he lost all that time. Raphael Huell absolutely doing the best thing you possibly can do, the most respectful thing you can do. Applause to Raphael Huell. Got himself in a bad situation, didn't bang up the car too much, other than the tire damage, of course. Didn't get in the way, was not too overeager, kept his head. That's what a pro racing driver looks like for my money.
And that is what Driver 61 can do as well. It can help you learn these little things, because some people just try and floor it and get around again, and they don't think of the other drivers. As we see the 29 at the end of the chase span, 69 was span as well, with the 141 through the S's, which is lovely. Tim Ireland has had contact with the wall again, so many people having incidents. Looks like he's stopped again. Phil Roberts has just passed him, the 225, so oh dear, that's don't think an M4's meant to look like that on the front, Jesse.
I don't think so either, and I don't know if this replay will be long enough to catch it. It hasn't, but you can...
Oh, he's McPhillamy Park.
Yeah, you can tell what happened. Spun either exiting McPhillamy Park or sort of got sideways in Sunset, but they've made it all the way to the wall is the important thing for Tim Ireland. They've hit the wall a ton, which is metric or imperial. You take your pick. It doesn't really matter. The damage is there to that lovely Super Touring liveried car. More cars coming into the pit lane, including George Barr for BDG Sim Racing, to the attention of their team, pitting out of P4. Now, because of Jordan Daly's incident, I don't think any of these top cars are going to be shuffled around too much. We haven't had enough of the pit stops up here anyway to facilitate that, of course. And in case you have forgotten who's leading the race, it's Timothy Flamger for Alpha Sim Sport in the Alpha Sim Sport Lamborghini.
Just and he's got a gap.
This is almost too dangerous, though, Ted, because we've seen this. We saw this yesterday. Spoilers. We saw this yesterday. If you were leading this race and you had a decent gap, you just put yourself at risk for running into something, namely a wall, most of the time. Timothy Flamger cannot get complacent here. They cannot sit here and just allow their gap to stagnate, because you take your eye off the prize, you relax a little bit, and when you do that here, oftentimes you end up in the wall.
Well, like you've just heard, half of the race done, half an hour left, and yeah, it is a long way to go, as we just heard in game, and he just needs to chill. He's got almost 6 seconds on Conway. Conway's got 6.7 on Curtin, so it's just like, it's one of those of Flamger and Conway are the ones that are fighting for first at the moment, no matter of pit stops. So they just need to, like, sort of just chill out. Conway obviously needs to catch up, but Flamger can chill out a little bit. Conway just needs to ignore Curtin behind, because I don't think Curtin's actually in third. Same with Pimlott in fourth, because obviously we saw Phil pit from fourth. I don't think Phil was in fourth either. Could be wrong, as we see Pimlott come in now. Do his, followed by Roman Fowler. I thought it was Tim Ireland then for a second. So they're very similar cars. My brain.
Tim Ireland is in the pit lane, so you're not wrong.
He is. That is very true. But people come in halfway. I think some people are going to go longer. For maybe Flamger and Conway. They don't want to come out in front of traffic. I can see the triangle on the track map at the bottom of the track map. You guys see it at home. There, number 19, that is Timothy Flamger, and the number 13 behind is Harry Conway. So that's the leaders, if you like, you want to watch out for. As so Lee Kettle coming into the pit lane from third in silver. So first is in, third is in. Lopez and Redford have already done theirs. And have to see where they end up after Fowler has done his pit stop.
Brother's been in there for a long time, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about that.
George Barr was in there for a whole minute and 6 seconds, which is 20 seconds longer than anyone else has really done.
We're about to find out. I could be wrong about this, folks. My internal clock isn't great. No, I was right. He was in there for a long time. Right. It was a 1 minute 12. A normal stop is in the high 38 to mid 45 second range. So anything over a minute, that's damage repair, that's tires, that's something extracurricular that they are getting up to in pit lane. And I just thought that maybe he was in there for a long time. And the reason that's important is for Roman Fowler, that has dropped him to, at bare minimum, third in his class. It should only be third, because Lee Kettle has just brought his 962 machine into the pit lane. So that's dropped Fowler from the lead down to third. That has given the lead in silver to Inigo Lopez with Redford in P2. Fowler now third. The question becomes, if Fowler took tires, can he make up the 17 plus seconds it's going to take this lead back?
Just have to wait and see. 26 minutes and 50 seconds left of the race. Anything, anything can happen. We've seen it around Bathurst so many times. People switch positions on the last lap because of, something going wrong. But just looking at the track map, Timothy Flamger is stuck behind Ashley Bibby, and that's dangerous going through mountain. All Ash needs to do is just keep his line all the way down until you get to the forest elbow. Forget about the car behind. This is what you need to do. Just forget about the car behind. The car behind has to wait. If they try and go for a move, then it will be on their fault that they take you out, because it's not really a place where you overtake. Now you come through forest elbow here. Once you get onto the straight, then that's when you got to think about, okay, right, now I'm back to being back marker. Need to let the faster drive through, and he does. Very sensible from Ash there. Remember, it's his first race around Mount Panorama. Right, I think it's his second race in ACC, second proper race in ACC. He missed round 2, he did round 1, and this is round 3. So he's doing an amazing job for basically a newcomer, a first timer to Bathurst. And it's not easy. We keep saying it, and until you drive it, you probably won't believe us.
Second race that Ash Bibby's entered. It is the second time he is guaranteed not last place. One of the things that Ash was initially worried about was pace and being in the back entirely. And while they are near the back of the field, they are not going to finish last regardless of what happens today, of course, because of the DNF. We've actually suffered a second DNF. Don't know who has retired.
Bill Roberts.
Is it Bill Roberts?
He came into pit lane. I don't know if he came into pit lane, but he has retired from the race. Not sure what's happened. I know the Discord call that Conway and Daly and Grimm are in, he was in there, but he's not in there anymore. Phil's not in there anymore, so I don't know if that's... don't know what happened. I don't think that's internet problems. Especially Callum Kerrigan the wrong way before Skyline.
I think they're about to retire this car. No, they're not. They're not going to retire the car. They were waiting for it. Now, that was an efficient U-turn.
That was lovely.
That was as efficient as it's ever going to be for Callum Kerrigan.
He is damaged again. He can't turn again.
Oh, dear. It's just been a race of frustration for Callum Kerrigan. And it didn't start out that way. It's hard to remember.
Here comes the leader.
But it hasn't started out this way. But this is the state of it right now. Just trying to nurse that car back home for a second time. Though I will say, I think it's damaged the opposite direction of the way it was last time.
Well, the Twitch McLaren team are going to have a hefty build after this race. Oh, it's even worse. It's going to... Oh, the 95 has stopped. That is Mike Redford on... He's backwards. He's stopped. I know he's backwards just because he... Trying to spin around, his dot is moving. He's stuck on the mountain straight. I don't know what, it must be out of T1.
What has happened to Mike Redford down in turn number 1? He's not near anybody.
Is this a curb too wrong? Oh,
he does, and he goes bucking Bronco style off into the dirt, and he's going to cross up the racetrack. Oh, a car skittering off of the racetrack to try and avoid the stricken 95. Redford doing everything he can, not moving, being very predictable. Scary moment for the Porsche, of course. But Redford somehow...
That was I think that was the Porsche, the 740, or was that Kenneco? Someone else is just... Oh, LaValle's gone to pit lane. 35 is in pit lane. He's just returned to the garage. He's got towed. He was at Forest Elbow. Pretty sure, yeah. So... What has he done here? Is the braking gone all wrong, and is it just slid the rear end out? Because there's a bit of a bump just about here. Oh, he did.
That's exactly what happened. Well said, Ted.
I've crashed here too many times. Can you tell?
Yeah, I usually... You know what I do? I make it a little bit further down that hill, right?
Yes,
and I'm like, I'm going to brake late. And what happens is I end up right where Kerrigan hit that tire barrier where it starts to jut out.
Yep,
that's the bit I like to hit. That's my spot.
And that's the one that gives you the most damage.
Yeah, 2 minutes, by the way, in case you're wondering. I'm not bitter.
Oh, yeah, I've had my fair share of crashes here. I've crashed pretty sure I've crashed at every corner. So I sort of know how things go. You see with Redford on the exit curb here, if you go too far along it, it has that weird bump where it catches the underfloor of the car and just flicks you up. Luckily, he didn't hit anything or hit anyone. Keneko luckily dodged Redford, but went onto the grass, which was a bit mad. But I think they saved their car as well. They still got to do their pit stop. Every silver driver has done their pit stop. It's just 7 pro drivers left. Top 6 and the 12th place driver still to do theirs. So just have to wait and see. The 28 is back in pit lane.
Oh, I thought I think the angle of the camera flattered that. I do apologize. I thought Neil Pimlott was going for a heroic move there down to the S's, and he didn't. But I thought he was gonna. But I think in reality, it's the time of day. It's 7:08 p.m. in sim time. The shadows are very long, and it made it look like the VR racing machine was going in there with intent. That is not what happened at all. There was no intent from Neil Pimlott. In fact, he came off slower through that particular section, Grim being able to scutter away. What have you seen?
Ash Bibby's back in pit lane. Not sure why. Has he got damage on that car? It looks like his rear end's got a little bit of scuffing, but it's not like anything like what we saw from Tim Island. He has now been dropped off the tracks, I think that was. Not sure what he's doing. 20 minutes left of the race. I'm hoping he can get back out and just get used to the track, a bit more used to the car. Because, you know, I think he's still in for some points. I think it's top 20. Yeah, it's top 30, so he's still going to get points as long as he finishes with, I think it's the 80% of the leaders' laps, which would be Flamgers. So he still needs to continue, I think at least like another 10 more minutes, at least, and he'll score points. I'm hoping he can get back on track. So I'll keep an eye on that on the side. As you see, Pimlott is now on the rear end of Lilith. Pimlott in the McLaren 720S Evo, I think it is, and then Grim in the M4. And you just have to see what Pimlott can do. I think if I look at the lap times, Pimlott's last lap was a 2-minute 2.7. Grim's was a 2-minute 3, so 3 tenths faster. So I think that's why Pimlott's been catching. And after Pimlott's previous finishes, if I look at last week's race, he finished 8th in around Kyle Army, and then for round 1 he DNF'd. So this will be his best finish if he can continue doing it. And Ashby got DT, and I think that was for minus speeding into or out of pit lane. I'm going to say into the pit lane. But that's very unfortunate. He just needs to just serve his drive through, and he'll be fine. He did another 2-minute 1, so unless he's just been, I think what's been happening, Jesse, is he's been tapping walls, not smacking walls like we've seen from Tim and Kerrigan and that. I think he's just been tapping them, building up loads of damage, and I think he's just been repairing it. Maybe it's enough that he needs to pit, and as we see, the 31 of Kevin Boss is stuck in the forest elbow. He's done a little bit of a spin, but I think Ashley's just been gaining a few seconds here and there by tapping walls, and thinks he needs to pit to repair it. As we see, he tapped the wall.
Oh, that's so stylish, though. Look what he did.
Lovely. And it's a shame he couldn't carry it on and just.
That's how I assume Kevin Boss.
Hitting the wall.
That's how I assume Kevin Boss turns into his driveway after work. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Full send up the driveway.
Kettle is round. Yeah, Kettle's round in stuff to Skyline. He's gone back to pit lane. Must have been a big spin.
He's fine.
His Skyline.
Oh my
hello, he turned in early.
What a strange incident this is. Very odd indeed. And what Lee Kettle has decided is that it's more advantageous to tow to the pit lane. Wait, is there Is there an after? Oh, he slams it into the wall again after that.
This is when he goes to pit lane.
After that hit, what I thought initially was it would be his thinking, potentially, more advantageous to tow than try and get it sent back around and waiting for all the cars to come through so that he can find a spot to do that. But no, it was indeed a second hit that changed his mind entirely. But seen a lot of those today. My prediction, Ted's not come true. My prediction of there being a gigantic sort of incident, a track blocker, if you will, has not come to pass. What has come to pass, a lot of drivers making solitary, self-inflicted mistakes here tonight.
Yeah, Tyler Jason Lavallee is in the chat saying, sorry for quitting tonight, guys. AMG was too much for me tonight. That's very understandable. It's like I said, it's not an easy track, because I just see George Barr is taking the fastest lap off of Timothy Flamger. So he's got a bit of pace in him, but yeah, it's just not easy. I just gonna keep saying this. I'm a broken record at this point, Jesse. Even the top drivers are struggling. You know, Daly struggled early on. Tyler struggled, but you know, Phil Roberts. I think I tried to get some info of Tom Bryan, but he unfortunately wasn't there, so we don't really know what happened. But he thinks he crashed. Which was very understandable, because Phil had already done his pit stop, and for him to be back in the pit lane would be either run out of fuel or he has crashed, and I'd say crashed would be the one. And this mountain just takes victims every single day. But we still got 15 minutes left, and I just want to say a shout out to AK Esports. They are the leader in esports management and competitions around the world. For more services. For more on services they provide, you can visit akesports.it. And yeah, we wouldn't be able to do these many Bathurst races in 2 weeks without them helping us out. And you know, you just can't get enough of Bathurst.
Bathurst, a lovely track. It will chew you up and spit you out. You've seen that a bit today with the self-inflicted mistakes, and it's all just lap time. You're just chasing lap time around this joint.
Yeah.
I've called enough professional races at this racetrack to know that even the pros, when they come here, they will ride off a car or two in the preparation of the race and during the race. And it's often, and I've said this to my own team, it is often the team, when you come to certain racetracks, the team that spends the least amount of time repairing is the team that is usually winning races. You don't have to run the fastest laps at certain racetracks to be competitive. You need only be quick enough and safe enough to get to the checkered flag first. Running the quickest laps are great. That's fantastic. But doing that lap after lap, that adds an element of danger. It adds an element of risk that you run into running into things, because you're on the ragged edge every lap. I would rather you run at 98% throughout the course of the race. And so what? If there's a team better than you, you're probably still getting, if you're in pro pace, you're probably still getting a top three. We look at our top three right now: Flamger, Conway, Kierton. These are cars that haven't really had an issue thus far. Still a long way to go. It's 13 minutes, 13 and a half minutes. It doesn't seem like a long time to us, but when you're driving this place, every lap, especially over the top of the mountain, is agonizing, because you're hyper-focused. You leave a 1 hour race, and I'll say this for World Tour coming up next weekend here on RCI TV. Like, subscribe. You're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be the same thing next week. 6 hours here is going to feel like they've run a 24-hour race somewhere else.
It is tiring, as we see Frada gets past Kenny Coe quite easily there. I think they just let them through, which is very, very nice of them indeed. Just looking at the silvers, Lopez and Frada are doing about the same lap times. They're about 14 and a half seconds apart for the battle of first in silver. Redford's got a massive gap to Mustang behind, so there's your top three in silver at this time. If they keep it clean, that is going to be your top three finishers in silver. Whereas the pros, I have no clue. Flamingo's got 6.4 on Conway. Conway's got a 9 seconds on Curtin. Curtin's way away from MO plate with almost 13 seconds there. They're all split. Just have to wait for those pit stops though, to see if Lilith or Pimlott or even Huel can get in there. But I have got some news about Jordan Daly. Apparently he's going to be pitting for tyres to chase the fastest lap to rob them points.
It's a smart move. If the race hasn't come off the way you wanted it to, maybe you were chasing a podium earlier on, you got into the wall a little bit, you had to change your pit strategy. Now you realize at this point in the race, Daly knows where he's at competitive-wise, championship points. He realizes what he can and cannot do. He's not going to be able to make up that gap to get to Kaneko, maybe some other cars. And even if he can, so what? There's more points in it going for the fast lap. So if he pits and goes for the quickest lap, he at least salvages something out of this weekend, and he keeps his weakest weekend. Keep in mind, drop round and all of that in the series. He keeps that from being a bigger hole to climb out of. Who's to say Harry Conway, Flamker, one of those cars later on in the season, they have a total write-off of a race and they score absolute goose egg.
Yeah.
If that would happen, Daly would still have more points for that round, and you can win championships that way. So it's smart. Daly realizing he's assessed the situation, and he's going into it like, right, I'm not going to gain too many more points racing other pros. Get the fastest lap. Get him that way. And Daly, certainly a man capable of doing that.
Also, I know the strategy why he's going for fastest lap.
Go on.
This will be his drop round, so the points won't count for him. So he's just going to take the points away from everyone else for the fastest lap, which is a very good strategy because there is a drop round. If I can't
have them, you can't have them either.
Exactly. His drop round at the minute is for 4th place at Kyalami last week. So this is going to be probably his worst performance, I would say, and he's just going to take those extra few points away from Bar and maybe Flamger or Conway if they turn up within the next 10 minutes with the fastest lap, but. Is a very good strategy.
I like the strategy, and I love how Daly has the wherewithal mid-race to come up with that, to say, I wonder if that was a contingency plan that he had before. Maybe that's something he stored in the back of his mind. Or,
no, I think it's on the spot.
Or if he came up with that on the fly and was like, you know what? I can make sure Flamger or Conway don't get bonus points here.
Yeah, I think it's on the spot because Daly's like that. He's like, oh, I'm going to annoy a few people. I'm going to take away some extra points.
That's. I mean, I've seen that in the WEC before. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've seen that in Formula One, where they just decide, okay, I can take away points and I can limit the damage done. Very smart indeed if he's able to accomplish just that. Close racing here between Grim Lilith and, of course, Neil Pimlott. They've been close for many laps.
Is that Pim? Oh, it is Pimlott. My bad.
That is Neil Pimlott. They've been close for many laps. You'd be forgiven for thinking so. These two have been close for many laps. That was the first real move, the real look Neil Pimlott's gave him. Lilith was able to execute the defensive driving maneuver to keep his BMW just in front. We talked about Roman Frawler, and we talked about him either fixing damage or taking tires. I suspect he's taking tires by judging how fast how slow, I should say, his pit stop was, and I theorized he would have to make up the better part of 17 seconds. Well, you saw the pass that he made earlier on Mike Redford, I believe it was. He has gained some of that time, but now he's lost time to Inigo Lopez. I think that gap was closer to 10 seconds a little while ago. It's 13.3 seconds now, Lopez to Frawler. Inigo Lopez looking to get another win in class.
Yeah, sure is. And I think some people are taking tires, but also I don't think they've put into account the degrees is now 2020, 20 ambient, 20 track.
No, it's 2023, Ted. Sorry.
Anyway.
Oh, wow! You anyway'd me?
Anyway. Earlier on, at the start of the race, it was 22 ambient, 24 track. It is dropped. It's almost the same as Friday's race, which was 18-18. So, it's dropped quite quickly over the hour, 50 minutes, just over 50 minutes now. So, I wonder if people's pressures aren't as, the 26.5s or whatever they want them as. And they're probably like down in the really low 26s, not giving them the grip. And that's why they're not putting out, quicker laps than what they've done. Flamger's half a second slower than his fastest lap. Coleman's almost a second slower than his fastest lap. The same with Curtin, the same with Mo Plate. Everyone's like quite slow compared to earlier on. And you think colder, quicker, but if you've not got the tyre pressures and the temps in them, you were going to go a lot slower than you did. when it was quite warm earlier on. So just have to keep an eye out, see if Daly can actually rob that fastest lap in time. Wonder if he's adjusted his pressures. Just have to wait and see. But Kerrigan has not gone back out. Bibby is, and Kettle has as well. Island and Boss are still in it after their crashes earlier on in the race, and Moondog brings up the rear end of the cars that are on the same lap as the leader. On about the leader, he's just gone through turn 1 onto the mountain straight, so there's about 3 or 3.5, 4 laps left of this race to go. So about 30 lap. It's a 30 lap race, I think it is. So it's they just got to keep it clean. Timothy just has to keep this car on the track and don't hit a wall, because Conway's not. 7.2 is quite far, but when you hit a wall, Conway is not that far away.
No, Conway isn't too terribly far away. The gap did come down just a little bit. Keep in mind, all these cars still have to do a pit stop, right? But the gap had come down as these two are side by side. George Barr saying, "Excuse me, please." Raphael Huell obliging. It is a change of place in class, and you got to wonder, these cars here, once the others pit, where are they all going to cycle out? But back to Harry Conway, he was a little bit closer than he was, or than he is now. A little while ago, it was about 5 or so seconds. That gap had come down just a little bit, or it sort of stabilized, I guess you could say. But
he did it.
He's done it. Oh yeah,
Jordan
he sure
Daly has done it. He just posted a 2:09, which is 0.6 faster than Flamger's time that he did early on, and George Barr did a 2:1.4, so that's 0.5 quicker, half a second. He's probably going to try and go for a quicker.
Oh no, he's not.
He was. You can see that he was pushing that car to the limit, and he was on 2 wheels for a second. Oh jeez, Daly, he does not care about this race anymore. He just wants to rob points off people. And
well, it doesn't matter. He's already done the damage. He's done the damage on the scoreboard where he has taken the quickest lap. So unless anyone else forfeits their races, we're going to see Daly get up on 2 wheels.
He hit the first wall on the apex, and that's what pushed him out.
I see. So unless anybody else tries the Daly strategy, which I don't think they will, he's done it. It is mission accomplished.
Oh, hello. Oh yeah, pit stops. I forgot. These guys haven't done the pit stops yet. Here comes Flamger in for his 1 litre. Can he get a good stop? That was a little bit slow there.
We do apologize. We apologize.
We forgot they had not done their pit stops, if I'm honest. If it feels long for them doing an hour race around this track, it feels quite long for us as well. There's been a lot to talk about in this race. Flamger's done his pit stop and straight out. Dolber is in to do theirs. The other 4 drivers are still going around. Flamger's time was a 40.1. I have to see what Dolber's is in a second.
Pretty good stop. Yeah, so Harry Conway takes the lead of the race, but again has to give that pit stop up sometime in the next couple of laps. Joe Dauber is still in the pit lane. He's leaving now. I was going to say, that seems like a long stop, but I think it's going to be a pretty routine one at the end of pit lane. We'll see. Yes, indeed, a 39.1 for them as well. Close racing here, as that is that Jordan Daly who came out right behind this group on another fresh set of Pirelli P0 racing tires. That is incredible. More importantly, Neil Pimlott just right behind and now in front of Joe Dauber. So Dauber does lose a spot there that was very closely contested, but the VR Racing 115 of Pimlott now well and truly in front of Dauber. Can Dauber do anything to get that spot back? How friendly will they be? I reckon quite friendly, these two.
Yeah, but
we'll see.
Jordan Daly just let through Grim Lilith, that black M4, as you see, the 3rd car in this train. Gave him a little bit of a toe on the straight and then moved over before Corey. Corey
he got
Ben,
real close to that wall.
Yeah, Grim is going full beans for it, but Conway is in, Curtin will be in, Plate will be in, and Madley will be in. They cannot do another lap because it is almost a 2-minute lap. Well, it is a 2-minute lap time for all of these drivers, so they have to come in this lap or they will get a penalty for not serving the pit stop. So you will see the other 2 Ferrari drivers, the last 2 to do them. Kenneco did do theirs last lap, I do believe. Here comes the 4th place driver, and there comes the 5th place driver as well. So they're all in, and they're all going to go back out. Harry Conway.
Here comes
Let's see,
Dauber. Dauber down to the inside. I think that was a little bit of help from a friend and maybe even a teammate, as Neil Pimlott did not necessarily fight that as hard as he could have done. Dauber goes to the inside. Pimlott obliges. Joe Dauber for rebound racing back through. Here comes Grim Lilith, Immo plate, and Madley into the pit lane. That will complete the cycle. It's all kicked off here with a few moments to go. Why is it always RCI? Why is it always Night Owl? It kicks off this crazy. Look at this. Car exiting the pit lane. How close do you like it?
That is Madley, Justin Madley coming out the pit lane and filtering in, now making this a 4-car fight for 5th place. I think this is. Grim Lilith getting really close to the rear end of that Ferrari, going around the outside into Quarry Bend. Can he make it stick? He might be able to. Ferrari's tyres will be a little bit colder coming out pit lane. Lilith will be warmer.
Still side by side. They sorted out just.
And if you're wondering what Jordan Daly was doing, that blue Beamer there at the end of Murray's corner, the final corner, he slowed down. It's because he's going for another fastest lap.
Of course he is. Why? But you got to protect. You got to protect the IP, right? Oh, it's going to be protection for Justin Madley. Madley off of the racetrack, gets back on. A little bit of contact there. Contact with Grim Lilith. Madley was off of the track, was able to regain control of it, but right into the path of Grim Lilith. Lilith is able to continue. Madley as well, though with a little extra contact and potentially a little extra damage for the Steady Start racing machine.
Yeah, that's going to be something that will go to post-race if either one of them reports, because it could be on Madley coming across onto Grim, obviously. Right there. Grim hit the curb, that's why he hit the rear end of the Ferrari. Luckily, he bounced off the wall, hit Grim again, and went straight. Poor Daly has to abandon his fastest lap.
Yeah, Daly's like, Daly's sitting there like, I'm sorry that you've had an incident, but you are ruining my record attempt.
Yes. But yeah, so I can't actually call that one for whose fault that would be. Obviously the
contact here.
Redford and in fact, there's a fight for 3rd place that is happening for silver. That came out of nowhere. I did not expect that. I predicted there wasn't going to be a race, but on the not the final lap, this is 2nd final. Leader is going through the mountain now, number 19, followed by 13 of Conway.
Everything has sorted itself out in the pro category. Flanger leads Conway and Kierton now. Your top 3 in that category. Mike Redford looking down to the inside of the chase. Gets a little bit sideways. The 6 takes evasive action. Roman Frawler off of the racetrack. They get back on. No harm, no foul. They will continue this fight, and they will have one more lap to go. Everybody now entering the final lap of the race. For Joe Dauber, qualified 5th. He started in pit lane. He now runs in 5th place. That is incredible. They've got all the way back to where they started this race, or where they qualified for this race, because of course they started 26th in the pit lane. Not a bad day for the 777 Audi. Not a bad day for Joe Dauber. 2 weeks on the trot, proving that you can make that particular strategy work.
Yeah, and Redford, just looking at the standings, he didn't do round 1, he did round 2, and he took home a 4th place for 51 points. So he's sitting in 5th in the championship, so he really wants to get this 2nd place points. As we see Timothy Flamger way ahead of everyone else, coming into Murray's corner, the final corner, and crossing the start-finish line to take home a lovely, nice win around Bathurst.
Alpha Sim Sport claims victory in round number 3 of Night Owl here at Bathurst, and he should celebrate. He stuck it to him here today. Harry Conway comes home in 2nd place, keeping the bid for a 4th Night Owl championship alive in the Bathurst Motors number 13. Behind them, it's the Kraken Engineering car of Olivier Kierton. A very well taken top 3. 2 Lamborghinis and a Ferrari. It's all Italia here in Australia.
It sure is. Emma Plate comes across the line in 4th. Joe Dauber in 5th.
Ooh, that was
Neil
close.
Pimlott, Grim Lilith 6th and 7th. George Barr in the background. Daly comes across the line as well. You see there, you got George Barr coming across. Jason Madley coming off Croft in that's 8th and 9th. And then we got the 21 of Raphael Huell in taking out the top 10 for pro and overall. Indigo Lopez going to take home 1st place in silver, but the fight that's currently carrying on is 2nd in silver. Looks like Roman Fowler is going to get away with this one. Very, very nice racing from this driver around the mountain. Very hard to do, but kept his cool and takes home second. Redford takes home third.
Certainly does. And all credit to Inigo Lopez, the Bull Shark e-racing car. Just did what they had to do. Kept the car clean, kept it out of trouble, let everybody else make their mistakes, and ran quick lap times, lap after lap. Did everything you could ask for in a race here at the mountain. Inigo Lopez, rising star in RCI.
Yeah, sure is, and he might have to see them in the pro category next season if they keep carrying this on. And if they win the championship, I might have to have a little word with them and see if they want to be bumped up to pro and have a little chance. But Kenneco still going round. Tim Island finishes. Kevin Boss comes across the line now. These drivers having incidents and being laps down from the leaders, but they do finish the race. So yeah, look at that. Lamborghini, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Audi. That's something you won't see every day, but very nice driving from all drivers today. Flamger, Conway, Curtin for first, second, third in Pro. Lopez, Frello and Redford for first, second and third in Silver. That is a Ferrari, BMW and McLaren. So they're a different order compared to the Pros.
Certainly is. Just what a race it was, and you just never knew what was going to happen. Credit to Inigo Lopez, credit to Timothy Flamker taking wins here today. Just brilliant job by the both of them, just getting it done when they needed to get it done. And a lot of incidents here, and this has certainly, I don't think I have to say it, but I will say it, it has completely changed the outlook of this championship.
Yeah, it sure has, but we're going to have to wait 2 weeks to see the standings on the stream, because obviously next weekend we do have 6 hours World Tour with Bathurst, so it's going to be an interesting race to see 6 hours. We only saw 1 hour, and it felt like at least 3 for us at least, and then probably a bit longer for the drivers, but it's 6 hours. It's going to be a long slog, but it's going to be some interesting races, some different strategies we're going to see. Obviously, 6 hours is very, very different from a 1 hour race, but got a few partners to give a bit of a shout out to. Got Fanatec, they are a leader in the global high-end sim racing hardware from low-tail pedals, direct drive base. Fanatec strives for quality in every piece of hardware they design. You can help RCI by using our affiliate link when making purchases from Fanatec. And if you do so, then we do thank you. They are very, very good, very comfortable pedals as well. Got some CSL Elites, and I just do like running them. And the load cells are really, really nice to use, and they have helped me with my braking. So go and check them out. They've got a load of bundles with their new direct drive, and it's a bundle of the direct drive system with pedals and different wheels to select from. So make sure you go and check them out. And obviously digitalmotorsports.com, they have all top brands and it's your one-stop shop for everything sim racing, whether you are in need of a new rim or a whole new rig. From beginner to expert, Digital Motorsport has something for everyone. Visit the link in the description. And don't forget to try out their sim rig builder, where you can build your own rig from the ground up. And you can see what it looks like before you buy it. So that is a very useful tool they do have over there, and you can find both of those guys in the description. But what do you think of this race, Jesse? It was a very interesting race today. It's a few bumps and bangs, a lot of people going into pit lane and repairing it, but finishing the race, which is very nice to see.
It was a fun race to call because you just didn't know what was going to happen. You had a lot of battles in the race all throughout the top positions, and even at the end there, a couple of positions in the silver category in doubt. Some pro battles. You had the Jordan Daly that was going for maximum destruction there in the championship as well. You love to see that strategy come out middle of the season like that. Everybody fighting over P1 in their categories. A lot of self-inflicted mistakes. No big major incidents. A couple of two-car incidents. Not anything else besides. Just about a perfect Bathurst race. Kept you guessing to the end, and you wouldn't know by looking at the end how much chaos happened in that 1 hour period.
Yeah, sure thing. And we do have the winner of the silver split here with us today, Inigo Lopez. How was that race for you today?
Words can't explain how happy I am. Like I've been waiting for so long for a moment like this to happen. Oh goodness.
How
what do you
many?
mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Like I mean, this is redemption from ever since my debut in the Night Owl in season 14. The win was there in Suzuka, but I choked it. This is just absolutely a great way to redeem that.
How many balls did you hit tonight?
Can't ask the winner
Surprisingly,
that.
I have
I have
no
to
idea.
ask.
I think I nudged it a few times, but not enough to give me any damage. Actually,
Well, not everyone gets away from Bathurst with no damage, and even the leader doesn't. But so for people at home who haven't raced this track or never done sim racing, how hard is this track in 1 hour?
oh, it's absolutely stressful. Trying to navigate through those tight sections. I've been here a few times in different leagues without success, and let's just say this is the time where I broke my Bathurst streak, and it's a great way to finish that to break that streak.
Well, it's very well driven indeed, and you had a pretty good lead at the end there. Second and third were fighting along, so that helped you out quite a bit. Are you expecting to do well around Laguna in 2 weeks' time? What is your plan for that?
I mean, Laguna is one of my favorite tracks as well, so there's going to be a lot of practice, lots of how to get get ahead of the pack, how to finish the race in one piece. So yeah, the focus is on trying to get the best out of the track.
Well, that's very well said. It's not an easy track, and if you go off onto the sand, it's gonna drag you wide, and it's like
Absolutely.
ice. It's not very fun, but you got 2 weeks until then, so you
Yep,
got
I got the
enough
world
time.
tour next week. Same
Oh, you've
track,
got
but in an
more
Aston Martin.
Bathurst. Oh,
Yeah,
lovely.
same
So,
track, but this time in an Aston Martin.
oh,
Yep.
that's very different from the Ferrari. Well, it's
Yeah.
very nice race indeed, and we will catch you in 2 weeks' time. We'll catch you actually next week, so good luck for them. But yeah, very nice win indeed.
Thank you very much.
Well, just looking at what we have coming up for iRacing. Let's start off with that. We've got Formula 1600 at Virginia. That starts on October 12th. The signups are open. So if you head over to racerci.com, you can see all the championships that are coming up open, or ones that you want to mid-season sign up for. Yeah, Virginia 1600 is something we want to do in iRacing. It's free car, free track. Gonna be some good fun. That is not long away. Got Legends Cup coming up as well. That is a championship of 3 that starts on October 19th for 3 races, 1 a week on Thursdays. So be sure to have a look at that as well, as we have 2 more drivers in here in the box with us. Let's start off with the winner, Timothy Flamger. What a
Hello.
race! What a race in that Lamborghini that was today.
Yeah, it was good fun. The car loves it here.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tim, I got a question. Were you ever aware you were on the track with other people? Your day was so good. I'm just making sure.
There was a Merc behind me for a while.
Oh, I
and then
see.
he disappeared.
Back to you, Ted. I'd said to ask that.
How was it in the Lamborghini? You look pretty steady, pretty chill, driving basically on your own tonight, as Jesse said.
Yeah, the setup I made is really smooth and safe because it's for the World Tour Endurance next week. So it was actually pretty chill. No big issues, only like 0.2 of damage from knocking the wing mirrors off, and that's about it.
Oh, fair enough. So what do you think of getting fastest lap tonight? Is that gonna worry you about points, or is that not phased you?
No, I just thought it was hilarious that Jordan changed tires at the end of the race so he could steal my point.
it's definitely a daily strat to do. But yeah, very nice race. Are you taking part in the World Tour next weekend?
Yeah. We'll be there with the Lambo again.
Oh,
Same team as we had in Monza.
lovely. So this is a sort of a bit of a practice for you as well.
Yeah, this was a bit of a shakedown for the enduro setup. I was even running on brake pad 2 instead of 1.
Oh, lovely. So you got your practice in, and you've won. So looks like you're gonna be very strong next weekend. So that's gonna be very interesting to watch indeed. So
Yeah,
very-
there's some scary McLarens in that field. And in order to keep up with the Heimo boys, I think I need to trim a few more tenths. But so far the pace was good. It was 2:01s for pretty much the whole race.
well, that is nice to hear. And I do hope you well in next week's race. Obviously, 6 hours is very long compared to this 1 hour race. So we'll be looking out for you. I'll be rooting you on a little bit. So I hope you do well, and very nice win today indeed.
Thank you.
Another driver we have here who finished in 6th place in the McLaren, the scary McLaren as a Flaminger.
No,
Nice to see.
Ted, it's Neil. You got to do it right. And now tonight
Oh.
we go to that old family RCI tradition, the Pimlot report.
Yeah, I just thought I'd say hi. It was a bit fun coming out about where the pits the last few laps. That was really good. There's about 4 or 5 cars, all on within a few tenths of each other. So yeah, I don't know whether you caught that on the broadcast.
we caught it.
We definitely did.
I
Yeah,
thought you might.
you Grim, and I think it was George Barr, and then you got Jason Madley comes out of pit lane, and Jordan Daly's right behind as well. So.
Yeah, I was insane. So yeah, the pit strategy seemed to work. I seemed to be in front of them. They must have got stuck in traffic, or took tyres. I don't really know what happened. Why? Because they were a little bit in front of me when I pitted.
Yeah. Well, going up the mountain, I don't know if you noticed, Grim Lilith and Madley had a little bit of a bump and bang.
Yeah, I noticed they sort of dropped away a little bit, but then Grim sort of caught me up again, and I think we crossed the line. It was only about 7/10 or something. So yeah,
it was 4 tenths across the line.
Yeah, I was just being a little steady over the mountain on that last lap, and the problem is when you change your driving style slightly, your lines change, and you shouldn't really do that. But I was just thinking, right, just don't crash on the last lap. This is a good finish, good points. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one tonight. I tend to do pretty well at Bathurst actually.
Well, are you taking part in the World Tour?
Yeah, I mean, I probably just done myself in there actually for next week.
You've cursed yourself.
Yeah.
We haven't done it. You've done that. Are you driving the same car, the McLaren?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I took the car. But the lads, well, it was a bit of a unanimous decision really. We went with a McLaren, and I thought, right, I'll go with Night Owl with McLaren. Just make sure I get used to it. Don't normally drive the mid-engines. But yeah, it's really good car actually. Really happy with it.
You've not done that great this season so far. So this was your best one, especially around Bathurst. It's not a very easy track. So I also have high hopes for you as well. Finishing 6th against these drivers here tonight. Greenland on your rear end for quite a bit of it, and you've done really well. So you got it gives you a bit of confidence for next weekend. You just 6-hour races, 6 times longer than this race was today. So you just gotta take a little bit more cautious. But
I'll probably do a couple of hours anyway of it. So twice as long as today, but probably not one after another anyway. Be a bit of a gap in between.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. But very nice 6th place indeed, and some more points for you in the championship.
Yeah, catching up with a few of the guys after a bit of a bad start. Right, guys,
Sure.
I'll let you get on.
Thank
Just thought I'd
you.
say hi.
Oh, thank you very much, Neil. Always a pleasure to speak to you after the race, and good luck for next weekend.
Cheers, guys. See ya.
We're gonna make the Pimlot report an actual thing. I guarantee we're gonna do that at some point.
It's like Speedy's fastest lap has become a thing.
Yeah, you got the Speedy's fastest lap, right? And then you have the
got
Pimlot report.
Yeah, Pimlot report.
It's just we are an association about our traditions. Ted, it was an interesting race. It has completely shaken up the championship standings. We're taking a week off. We're cooling off. And where are we going in 2 weeks?
We are heading all the way over to Laguna Seca. Your end of the world, Jesse.
Yeah, they got grapes over there. I like it.
Oh, yes, and a lot of sand that makes
it's not sand. Stop calling it sand.
Yeah, I like sand. It's sand.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and it gets everywhere. It's horrible.
Yeah, you beat me.
Oh, did I ruin it? Oh,
anyway.
This is the second time I cannot work under these conditions with this abuse.
Anyway, next week
you did it again.
2 weeks. 2 weeks time is Laguna, but we got a little bit of a break in between. Then drivers can rest. Most of them are doing the World Tour at Bathurst next weekend. And on about next championships, Legends Cup is starting on the 19th for 3 rounds on a Thursday, replacing the GT4 champ that we used to do. Followed by that on October 28th for a one-off is Charlotte Motor Speedway. Charlotte 150 miles, 100 laps in the street stock cars is going to be some fun. Then we've got MX5's round Daytona International Speedway, the Roval. I believe it's going to be the Roval. It's going to be some good fun. November 4th is it's always fun in MX5s. They're very fun to drive and very easy. And then after that, on November 9th, for 4 rounds, we've got iRacing Road Season 2. We did Season 1 early this year, and Season 2 is coming back. MX5 for a free car, and then GT4s for the paid around Virginia, Daytona, Charlotte, Roval, and Road Atlanta. So that's going to be a fun one. That's a 4-round chat. That's going to be on a Thursday as well. And then obviously we've got some ACC champs still going. We've got Friday champ. Well, we've got Monday champ coming up. That's going to be at Valencia. I do correct myself. That is the Porsche Cup Season 4. Followed by that is Wednesday Team Champ Season 5. That's going to be around Bathurst. We just love a bit of Bathurst. Then we've got Friday. That's at Laguna Seca. And then we've got World Tour at Bathurst. And you can find all those championships on our website, racerci.com. You can do your pre-qualifying, and you'll get moved into your class that you qualify in, and then you can do the race for that week. And I think that's everything covered on the website. Just we've got loads and loads of races happening and coming up, and we've got a few more champs coming up in the future. We want to run almost a champ every day of the week.
It's going to be close to that, isn't it? And folks, if you're not currently into iRacing and you're looking for a reason to get involved, well, we can help you. All of our championships coming up, they're all on the base content. And I know what you're saying, Jesse Lee, I don't have an iRacing account. We can help you out with that as well, as we do offer 3-month codes over on our Discord. Come and join the Discord, figure out how you can get a 3-month code for iRacing, new accounts only, of course. We have a form that you can fill out and apply for one of those codes. We would love to have you on an upcoming one of our iRacing series this fall. Ted, it's been a long day. It's been a fun day for some. For others, it's been a bit frustrating. For us, though, in the booth, I think we've thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, we sure did. I always do like a good Bathurst race, and I think this might be the first time I've commented on it. Might even be the second time, but it is always fun to do, and there's always something happening. We have non-stop spoke this race about any incident that has happened today. But yeah, well, all I've got left to say, Jesse, is like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications, as we got many more races coming up this week, and we've got that World Tour coming up in a week's time. But until 2 weeks' time, where we come back for Night Owl, we will see you later.